4, 5. Oh, we're live. Hi, this is Michelle Warnica, and I'm here with Joan Yue, and we are here live to talk about movement feedback. I am the host of the Facebook group Soul Guided Entrepreneurs, and this week in our Facebook group, we're talking about using movement to move energy, to raise your vibration. And I've been working with Joan. Movement has been a really, really important part of my 2021. And so I was led to Joan. I've been in her class for about a month now, and I've had so much transformation I wanted to share her with all of you. Today's event is called Rewire Your Neural Pathways for Bliss Through Movement Feedback. So welcome, Joan. How are you today?
Good, good.
Thank you for the patience. You know, this is Mercury retrograde now, and I've been having technical issues all week. So I guess another example of that. So I wanted to just take a minute and talk about the movement feedback and what it's done for me. And then I want to find out more about you and your story and share with the people why your unique modality. So at the beginning of the year, I'm a channel, and I have been through a lot. Last year was very hard for me physically, and my body's been through a lot. And in the first day of the year, I sat down with my guides and I channeled a message. And the message was, you need to change the way that you live, the way that you move. You need to incorporate movement into your day. Instead of doing a 1-hour workout in the morning, we need you to start moving all throughout the day. And they just gave me all these examples of movement, and just movement, how important movement was going to be for me this year. And I had joined your meetup. You have a meetup on Meetup, and it's called Movement Feedback. Movement Feedback. And I had joined months ago, and I didn't ever go. And all of a sudden, just like, I think it was the week before the new year, I just got an email that said, oh, there's a class tonight. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do that because I just heard all this movement. I need to do. I'm going to check it out. And I went to your class, and it was not anything like I expected. And it was so interesting. And you really called me out on some stuff. Like that first day, I was like, how does she see this? How does she know this? And so even though I didn't really like hearing it, I knew it was true. And so I continued to go back over and over and over. And it's been about a month now. And today I woke up in bliss. I have to say, I got up, I did my movement. I do movement every morning when I get up. I went to set my silent meditation, and I was only maybe a minute in when I just started giggling. And I was like, oh, okay, it's that day. Great. This is wonderful.
Silent meditation in giggles.
Yes, it was so great. And then coincidentally, you had a class this morning. So I was able to come right to class and fine tune my bliss, and so that I could carry it through my day. So I love your class. I love what you do. I'm a healer. I've been through so many different healing sessions. I've never experienced anything like what you do and how powerful it is. So I wanted to introduce you to the world. Not that you haven't been already, but. So Joan, tell us a little bit about your story and movement feedback, what it is, how you got started in it, and how you're so magical.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and I want to comment on your energy. You are like completely different person in just 1 month. Yeah, like you're like so happy and so bright and more connected in the body. Yeah. I found out about movement feedback from my mentor, Carl Wolf, in 2015. And at that time, it was so amazing. I went to a weekend seminar, and I was like, we do some free dancing. And Carl pointed out I have the myth of bound feet. And my grandmother lived to 105 from Qing Dynasty to communist China, and she had bound feet. And I was carrying her story and myth. And Carl pointed out. Wow. And I was so rigid too. And he pointed out, and it's like how we do anything is how we do everything. Whatever stories or mental, emotional, behavior pattern is shown up in our movement. And lots of people, they come to my class and they say, I don't say a thing. How did you know?
Yeah.
And the nice thing about movement feedback is that when we connect, we drop the thinking and we connect to the core that's around second chakra, 2 inches below navel. You start to connect to spirit or the quantum field. And other people, like, because I'm quieter, I'm connected, and the students, they got entrained into that state. And then I can start feeling their emotions and that there are messages from quantum field about what I'm seeing, how they move. There are some stuck pattern. And the cool thing about movement is that once you see stuck pattern, like for instance, someone had a lot of doubt. She always doubted her decision. But when she moved, all of a sudden I saw a cloud of doubt around her, and I taught her how to release that. And then she said next week, I couldn't doubt the same amount, because that energy got removed. You cannot doubt the same amount, maybe a little bit. So that's how quickly the pattern can shift. Another thing is that when we move, even like if I slowly, consciously move a second, we are firing millions of synapses in the brain. And that kind of confuse the brain because the brain want to control emotion. What keep people stuck is they don't want to feel certain emotions. And so the brain is putting a lid on it. But when you move, the brain can control so much and the information, the emotion leak out. And then they move through you. Whatever keep you stuck, move out of you. The healing occurs. Our body can heal us, but we run some mental pattern, emotional pattern that keeps the healing from naturally occurring. And I see people come into the class, they have certain behavior. Appear to them is kind of try to make themselves feel good, but it's keeping them stuck in some kind of emotions that they are trying to soothe away. So it's so cool that the movement reveals everything. And once they receive the feedback, the spirit also help you. And it's like, oh, once you're aware, that pattern got loose. And then the healing occurs naturally.
So I have questions.
Okay.
One of the questions is about the emotions stuck in the body, because I know that they do get stuck in the body and that you have to move them out. And how does that happen? So, for instance, I've had a lot of digestive issues, which is, my third chakra issue. And so I've been trying to move them out, but they seem to be stuck.
Because when you say you are trying to move them out, you're doing something to keep them stuck. That's the thing, is that we don't try to help our heart to do heartbeat or try to help our lung to breathe. The fact it's like we are a spiritual being having human experience, and the spirit is magnificent. It controls everything. But we really think with these emotions, we need to be doing something about it. And that's in the way of it coming out. What I see when people move, I can see where the energy is stuck. Like I can see like the energy and where it's stuck, and then we will do something. Like we will say, pat here, we shake, we laugh, we make sound, we do something to unstuck it. And once it come out, and then more healing could occur later on. But it's like the energy block got loosened.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
then my question is, have you always had this ability to see energy?
Aha. I was a PhD chemist, very intellect oriented. And Carl was always saying it's harder for you because if people run one thinking process, you can run five at the same time. You can run five stories when they run one. So it took some time to quiet down. And once you start to move and think, and the nice thing is people come to the class, they get my reference point. Lots of people at the end of first class and they were meditator. They say they go into deep silence. Is that, oh, you move to deep silence? It's because during this movement process, you let go of a lot of anxiety, a lot of emotions. It keeps you uneasy, and then you go deeper inside yourself, become that. And then once you connect to the core, you basically plugged into this universal consciousness or quantum field, and information just come to me. Like even at the beginning of the class, people do a intention. They talk about what they want, and I usually see a mental image. They'll say, I want to work on avoidance, but I see there's avoidance there, and they go bypass it or something. So like that's how you manifest in the quantum field. It's where all possibility and we manifest, but I can read what they really broadcast to the quantum field.
Yeah, and I want to talk more about the quantum field, but so you didn't have this ability to see the energy until you
No,
started doing this work, and
and
then
also I was lucky. I think I did a little bit of work with Dr. George Pratt. It's more like a tapping, but mostly I worked with Carl Wolf for 3 years, and he passed away in 2018. He came out of retirement because he wanted people to pass on the work. And I really think this work is amazing. New people, they come in, they already connect to the true essence. If there is a major transformation, it's that new people, they come in and they get a sense of what it's like to connect to the true essence once they drop those stories showing up in their field. They may go back and then things come back, but at that moment, the feeling is like bliss, innate joy, ease.
yeah, but they have to be ready, right? I mean, because we talked a little bit about that. People that aren't ready, because I know the first class I went to, you guys told me a few things that were a little hard, and I was a little resistant. Like, oh, that's amazing. Yes, I am a martyr. But I came back because I wanted to change. I was ready to change. I just was open and available to accept whatever it was, because I figured, I know that we carry so much unconscious emotion. We don't even know about it until something triggers us and it comes up. And then we're like, oh yeah, that could be true.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like lots of people, they have unconscious patterns, and that's why the feedback is so powerful. Because once I bring it, they were like, "Oh, I didn't know I was that." But then when they release it, they feel a difference. Like, and they a lot of times they look so different. Yeah.
Yeah, because it weighs on you. That energy just globs into your body.
And it's like we are like a ghost hotel. It's like at certain age we may have depression, and it's a room of depression, and then maybe we are anxious, another room. Sometimes we happen to go to the anxious room, and then we're stuck there, right? We struggle it for many days, and another one. But we carry all this in the field, and when you move, those leak out. That's why the feedback helps. But you are right. Not everyone is ready for feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Humbling.
the way we do it is kinder. We used to get hard feedback. And for me, the feedback is more about uh, what what they can get. If I say you have a pattern, I usually tell you how to move out of it. So
Yeah.
that way you can move out of it. And
Yeah.
just the awareness of you are doing a pattern, it already like kind of 50% of solution, because a lot of times we don't know that we are doing things that's holding ourselves back.
Yeah.
We thought we are doing hard work. One feedback often is about don't try so hard. You see people like really working against themselves.
Yeah, and that is really, really powerful what you just said about how we're always working, because we are programmed, from the time we're little that you're supposed to work hard. You don't really get anywhere if you don't work hard. So in our minds, the harder we work, the farther we're going to get. And that's not the way it is. And this is so interesting because I'm actually creating a workshop around that. Play and ease will get you where you want to go much faster than hard work. So no more hard work, which I got from you. No more hard work.
I know.
Fun.
Yeah, and that's a tough one for people to get. It's like, but then sometimes we replay the, the movement, and people can see, oh wow, their upper body is more like ego-driven movement is so hard, and but ideally you want the the core, the spirit to take over, so your movement is easy. Like I'm moving, but I don't feel the weight. I remember one time I went to the gym and there was this guy really muscling. And I told him, I learned movement feedback. And I showed him I was bouncing the ball and it was so easy. Like a big ball, and I was sitting on it bouncing. And he said, "You are not using muscle." I say, "Yes, energy is moving me." And he's like, I will do this. So, and I have a friend, she did marathon, she climbed mountain, and she came to the class. And I say, all your movements are so hard. And at the end of the class, she say, I didn't know you can move so easily. She was always training, running, but using muscle, not using energy. And imagine you are supported by energy. Like, how you shift your movement pattern shifts how you live your life. The ease in your movement translate to the ease in your life, because you had to kind of trust the spirit in order to let energy to move you.
Yeah. So let's talk about the core a little bit, because that is your big thing, is to embody the core. And why is it so much easier when you're using your core than
Okay.
the other way?
Okay, one thing about the core, it's like ancient Chinese would call it Dan Tian. It's 2 inches below navel. And the modern scientists say that's the gut brain, the second brain. And that's why trusting your gut is trusting your intuition. So for me, literally, when people say, how do you know? That, and like, how can you feel all that? But for me, it's literally, I drop my awareness to the core, and then all the information turn on, like clairvoyance or like clairsentience. everything.
Yeah.
Clear cognizance. Another thing is that scientists found 95% of the feel-good hormone is the serotonin is produced in the gut area. And new people, they come to the first class, they oftentimes they kind of connect to the innate joy. And it's like you don't need to anything to make it joyful. It's that feeling you drop there, and all of a sudden, like you feel innate joy. So that's the portal for innate joy, portal for inner knowing, and portal to connect to the quantum field. That's
And,
how we connect to the quantum field.
and that's the second chakra, the sacral chakra.
Yes.
Yes.
And that the if there is a magic component in the class, it's this quantum field. In the quantum field, once you plug in, and the student they also got entrained in, and the spirit is healing them. I just provide information. But you see people shifting. Sometimes they are morphing and they do the very different. It's spirit doing the magic.
How do you describe the quantum field for people that don't know what that is?
Okay. Like quantum field, it's like a representation of spirit, God. People say like, especially newly joined church, the Christians, they would ask, where's God? And I would say, God's everywhere. It's inside you, outside you, it's in everything. And that people call it source, whatever, true essence, infinite love. It doesn't really matter. It's intelligent consciousness. It's creating and making everything works so well in the universe. And that energy we can connect to. Once you drop all those mental chatter, you connect to that. And like quantum physics, they say the quantum field is the building block of the universe. And in our class, we would do some exercise, and people all of a sudden they are seeing the quantum field. And it's like it's what's in front of you. It's material wave. It's fog. People see the fog. One time, lots of people they saw it. They were like, "I'm seeing blurry," like young men. I was, but and then I was so happy to saw a video by a quantum physics. He say they found out even empty space, no molecule vacuum, the quantum field is fluctuating, and it's what we saw, like a blurry fluctuation. It's so cool to see.
So it's a different dimension than we live in, right?
I would think it's everywhere, but once you plug into that, you can plug into this infinite possibilities. So what you desire come to you easier.
Yeah, I think Joe Dispenza calls it like a place where you're nobody, you're no thing, you're no. You read him, Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, I read that. Joe Dispenza taught it a different way. I just feel this way we are doing is way quicker because people can come to the class and they feel plugged in. Yeah, it's because that somehow I was feeling my body. So I'm like, it's the different way. But it's like two advantages. One is that when we start to feel our body, we kind of go into this feeling state, not thinking state. And actually, he kind of talk about turn into internal senses, but actually I'm turning on my senses. I'm feeling the environment and everything. So I go into a feeling state. But there are two different ways to go. I guess that way people practice to go into the quantum field. But this one, another way is entrainment because I'm connected. Other people, they get in, they quiet down and they connected. So it's like you can come in already connect to the quantum field in the first class without special training.
Yeah, it's much faster because I did Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Uh-huh.
That was a lot of work. I mean, every day I was meditating for like an hour and a half just to get into that field of creation. And with you, you can be in that field within the first 10 minutes of the class.
Oh, that good. People sit down with me and they already shifted. They already connected. And it's not about, for this is not about hard work. You talk about bliss. Bliss, it like for me, like I kind of differentiate the innate joy. You connect to the core. The bliss is like you bring that. First draw the energy down to the core. You feel the innate joy. Bliss, I bring it up, and then it's like all the thoughts are so sweet, so precious. It's like I'm in that state of future, like alive. Whatever I want can happen, and yeah. So everything tastes so sweet. And even though like sometimes, we have life and tough stuff happen, but I can still have this connection to the spirit. It's the background, this sweetness, even though I'm like that, and I still know it's in the background. And then when the experience die down, this bliss come up more. Yeah. It's a knowing more than a fleeting feeling.
Yeah, it is pretty powerful. And you've actually, you said, because people think that whatever happened in the past happened in the past. You've said you can even change the past using the quantum field.
Oh yeah, we see that. So in the quantum field, there is no time and space. That's why people come to the class. They are from London, Australia. But in the quantum field, there is no space difference. That's why we all plugged in. They can shift. And then there's no time. And people like to change the future, but future hasn't happened yet. But the past already happened. So in the quantum field, past and present are overlap. And so a lot of people, what happened is they have a traumatic childhood and they keep projected past into the future because they walk around as someone with trauma. And what do someone trauma do? Things are harder. They have to overcome things. But if you go in, and last night I worked with someone to kind of clear that and say, maybe I was a chubby baby everyone loved instead of this no one like all that. And what's funny is that at the end she really got it, is that there is this formless consciousness underneath. She felt it. That's like you feel more open and more present. And then when I say that there is a scary voice on top but that's not true. But then she realized she need to listen to this formless, this spirit more, instead of this human experience, and got wrapped up in it. Once she can distance in that, she can connect more to the bliss.
Yeah.
Even though the experience of fear came up, but it's like you are being cradled by this infinite love. If people don't want to say spirit, soul, God, but it's this infinite love cradling you, and you feel this safety and trust of living life, even though it could be your tidal wave, but you know deep down you're being supported and you are being guided. And this connection, that's why people shift so quickly, because once you have this connection, then you are not so wrapped up in stuff and the body can heal. Because it's all those taking everything personal and all the story that holds all the trauma in place. And also when they move, those trauma, I can see it, sometimes it's like a guilt, shame usually here. People would walk like that. It's like they don't feel being supported. Certain pattern. And then we will ask them to walk backward. And they got fearful. You can see that. And then once they overcome that energy got integrated. So it's like amazing, like how you just walk and you integrate all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. You even had like one woman in the class. She, you filmed her in the morning because you film sometimes. We look at our movements, and then you had her do a few. I think she patted herself on the back or something. She did a few movements, and then we replayed the video, and it looked different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's yeah. It's like one time I saw that, and then we keep doing experiment. We go back and do it. It's like because you've changed your present, and there is no time. You change your past, and the person looks different. Yeah.
That's some powerful stuff right there.
I think like people didn't know this is a shortcut. Rather than try to fix your past, how about just change that story? It's
Yeah.
easier than changing, like try to change your future. It's good that we want to live in this joyful state, but like what's inside us, the story we told about a past, it's like it's weighing on you. It's in your field, and that's how I see. It's like people say a sentence, and I can feel what they broadcast to the quantum field. And it's not what they want. They could be saying, "I want money," and then I feel, "Oh wow, so much anxiety about money. You are afraid of money." Something.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's powerful. So what you do private sessions and you do these group classes. Do you want to talk a little bit about the classes?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The private session I do, like it's more going deep into the quantum field, and people usually have some trauma. They have repressed emotion, so I kind of help them feel and loosen that, and so integration happen with the movement. I teach the movement one hour each time and 5 times a week. So we do Monday, Thursday 9 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesday 6 p.m. Pacific time, and then Sunday 4 p.m. and Saturday 7:30 a.m. Anyway, it's cool to move in the quantum field and see people shift. So it's something very rewarding.
It's really, really powerful. I have to say, I've never experienced anything like it. And I just in 1 month, I know how much I've shifted. And I'm so grateful. And I'm so happy that we're able to share this with so many people.
Oh, I want to comment that I know there was some technique. They kind of remove one limiting belief at a time. And when we move, and some energy clock I saw, and then we teach how to move away, you could release 1,000 in 1 minute, because that energy, that block of all those stories got released. So that's why people shifted so much. You look so bright.
How does all that stuff get stuck in our body?
Oh, it's because that we are not trained to feel our emotion. It's like, if there's one thing holding people back is the not wanting to feel emotion. Because to the primitive brain, you see a tiger, you have certain sensation, right? And then you you see a horrible boss. You have some sensation. But primitive brain, it doesn't know, it doesn't have images. It just have the sensations. So it's like, oh, tiger show up. Imagine you had to see your tiger, your boss, like several hours a day. So how much stress on your system?
And then it just gets lodged. The energy just gets
In
lodged.
body, every time you're not feeling it, it just keep accumulated in the cellular level. And then when they move, what I see is like something got clogged. And if we unclog it, and that trauma got released. And we have a lot of trauma, big and small,
Yes,
everywhere. And then like many lifetimes too.
yes,
So
it's true.
yeah.
So, Joan, we got a false start here, so I don't have your. Does anyone have? We got a false start here, so I don't have your banner to
It's
post.
okay. It's
But we
okay.
have it's movementfeedback.com is your website, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and people are welcome to come try the free class at the homepage. They can sign up.
Oh, they
One
can.
thing I promise you is you'll feel that connection to the true essence,
Yes,
even in the first class.
yes, I can tell you. Even one class, you will make a shift. But come ready to hear the truth, because Joan.
That's the part, is that you're going to hear some of the unconscious pattern you're running, but it's what do you need to move forward.
It is. It can be a powerful healing, my friend. So definitely try it out. And Joan, thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful for you. And I
Thank
look forward
you.
to seeing you in class, I guess, on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.